Hi, Mary Ann Hughes with Special Family Transitions, and I'm so excited to be at the Westview School today to share about their program and some exciting news about their new high school. And so let's introduce yourselves.
Hi, I'm Bevan Cook. I'm head of the Westview School.
And I'm Cori Beach. I'm coordinator of Student, Family, and Community Engagement.
Great. So for those who don't know about the Westview School, can you tell us about the Westview School, who it's for, and the ages of the students that come to you?
Sure. We are a small private school serving children on the autism spectrum, previously ages 2 through middle school, and this is our inaugural year for the high school. So we're rolling out with grade 9, and we currently serve students as old as 16 years old.
Wonderful. And what inspired you to start the high school?
Well, that is absolutely a credit to our families. I've been here 6 years, and in my first year, we did a new strategic plan, and the families were asking in the strategic plan for high school. And so our board took that feedback and hired the education group to do a feasibility study and do some research on whether or not that was a needed service in our city, and the results came back. We did. And so here we are, and it was a pretty thoughtful process with a committee of the board looking at what the program should look like and what it should include and who we should serve. And so here we are, year 1.
Wonderful. And so is the plan to go through 12th grade or beyond for young adults, or what are you envisioning?
Our plan is to do a 4-year high school program that would prepare students for either work or a community college or university placement.
Wonderful. And so are there different tracks of students and the programs?
There sure are. Cori, you want to take this one?
There's 3 different tracks: diploma plans, foundations, modified, and distinguished. And so each student last spring sat down with Dr. Koch, and they looked at the different paths, figured out we believe strongly in voice and choice, and so looked at which fit them and their goals and picked a path that they're going to start out on, and we're going to support them to get there.
Okay, wonderful. And so for those who don't know about Westview, can you tell us the type of student that would normally come to you, and then if that looks different in high school?
Sure. That's a great question. So again, our kids are mostly on the autism spectrum, and when students start really young, that's communication delays, social emotional difficulties relating to one another, self-regulating. And so the program for 2-year-olds is a little bit different. We work on potty training and getting students prepared to work in a small group, eventually a little table time, sitting in circle time. And as they move forward, it becomes more academic, not hardcore, but aligned to the state curriculum. So the kids are learning to read and write and do math and science experiments and all of those things. But we do get to be intentional about the social piece. As students move from program level to program level, we do hope to see them grow in independence. So an ideal high school student would be one who's academically capable. They're reading, they're writing, they're doing math. They're interested in pursuing something beyond high school, whether that be work. They're interested in building social connections to others, and they're interested in building an independent life.
Wonderful. And so when someone's finishing up with middle school then, to decide whether to continue on at Westview High School versus some other type of opportunity or public school, what would you say would be the benefit of going to Westview High School?
Well, it's an extension of the program where they've been, and so they're going to know our staff, our team. As Cori said, we are supporters of voice and choice. We want to know what our students and their families' long-term goals are, and we want to support them to getting that way. It's not a one-size-fits-all. It's very much a let's get into that PAYS lab and do some career exploration and figure out what our long-term goals, our interests, our aptitudes are, and work to develop those.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, speak a little bit about the PAYS lab and what that is.
Oh, we're so excited about that. So practical assessment exploration system. So the PAYS lab includes 264 jobs where students come in and they are an employee and they get their assignment, they open the task box, they read the instructions, They call over their supervisor, who is a teacher, but the supervisor says, do you understand the job? Get to work. And they start their timer, and the student works as independently as they can through the task. When the job is finished, they call the supervisor over, who checks their work, and ask them, how much did you enjoy that work? Was it high interest, medium, low interest, and checks the accuracy. And we get a report that tells us interest, aptitude, independence, rate of work, if the student is capable of doing that competitively, as in for pay. But because there are so many different jobs and offerings, everybody's going to find something that they enjoy and that they can do and that we can build on for the 3 remaining years of high school. And then Cori is going to get to engage with the community to find places for these kids to go further their exposure to those skills and practice them in a real world setting.
Wonderful. So what grade do you envision that happening?
It depends on the student, right? When they're ready to go out into the community, we'll also have opportunities here on campus for them to do more of an internship on campus. We're building in community service opportunities to build those employability skills, as well as there's a lot of conversations that I have one-on-one with the kids about what they are enjoying, what they're learning that's not just, that are those soft skills, the problem solving, the pushing through, the perseverance, and how they can apply those to what they want to do long term, and is that feasible? Looking at the whole field instead of one little part of it.
Okay, great. And so what does a typical day look like when you're in high school here?
It is, so we're on a block schedule. We have a blue day and a gray day. Monday and Wednesday are blue days. Tuesday and Friday are our gray days, and then our Thursday, since it's a half day, flip-flops. We start on Monday with biology. Then we have our flex time, which is a great 25-minute period. They can go out in our picnic area. The Wi-Fi works out there, so they can get in Google Classroom. We're out there engaging with them if they need support, or they can sit and relax too if they're caught up on their work. Then they go to their next class on blue days. That's an enrichment class. They chose art and drama, so we've got 2 in art and 2 in drama this year. At lunch, again, most of them are choosing to sit outside for lunch, which is fun. They come back in, they have either ASL or Spanish, which is amazing. You got a chance to see the ASL in action today. And they end the day with geography. On the gray days, they start with the PAYS lab. So it's fun. I get to go in there in the morning and see them work with Mrs. Armstrong. They have their break. They go to algebra or math with Dr. Koch. And they have their lunch. They come to me for communication application this semester, speech class. And then they end their day with English.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And so do they have opportunity to go out to the community? You mentioned about maybe some partners later. Are there some events that you do, or some things that you do outside of school?
This year we have partnered with Kids Meals, so we'll be going over there about once a month. And some of the parents are joining us as well to engage with the community. We're going to start out in the art room this month and then venture out into their new area. Then on some other Thursdays, we have a group coming in of college students to act as mentors with them. We're talking about businesses they want to make. Sometimes it's playing card games too, or just having a conversation about what it's like out there in the world as a college student.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful. And so do you find that most people would continue on, or can some people who haven't been at Westview before, can they apply to come to Westview for the high school?
It is open enrollment, and so families, I feel like at every sort of transition period, need to think, is this still meeting our needs? And if so, continue on that path. But yes, we are accepting applications for open spots in the high school.
Yeah, wonderful. So are you full right now for your first year for the 9th grade, or do you still?
We still have a few seats.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. And so what does the application process look like?
So they reach out to our admissions director, Becky Travis, and do a phone interview. If it feels like this may be a good fit, the family can come for a tour with Jolene Zucala. She's here on site. She'll do a tour. And if they kind of seeing the other students feel like, yes, I could see my child fitting in nicely here, they start an application. And that involves submitting recent testing, report cards, grade reports from wherever they have been. And then they do an admission Zoom, which is sort of a screening and get to know you sort of thing. They take that information all to the admissions committee. If it feels like a good match, we invite the student out for a shadow day. They follow a day with another student, and we get a chance to observe and see how they fit. And if it's a good fit, we extend a contract.
Yeah, wonderful. And so in terms of if there's parents who are not sure what the requirements are, I'm sure they can go to your website, but could you describe a little bit in terms of the profile of student that would be a good fit at Westview?
For high school age?
Let's talk about all of them.
All of them.
But let's focus first on high school.
Okay, sure. Let's focus on high school first. So a student that is comfortable in a small group setting, following a group plan, willing and capable to initiate work independently. And I don't mean, 4 hours of homework at night all by themselves. That's not it. I mean, the teacher is talking, I should be taking notes. But we're still teachers. We're still going to prompt, hey, you should write this down. Yeah. My students call that momming them. They don't love it when we mom them, but I mom them. Here, write this down. This is important. So willing to do the work, wants to grow academically and socially. As far as middle school, similar. Elementary, maybe it's a student who, if they're in a public school currently, are feeling lost in a class of 25 or 30 and need a smaller group setting with a little bit more support and attention in that group. With the small class sizes of a maximum of about 8, kids get a lot of help and support and coaching.
Wonderful. And so you also have a center where they can do therapy outside of the school. How does that work?
We do. We have the Stewart Center here on campus. We have speech, occupational therapy, psychotherapy, and a play therapist. And for a number of our families, instead of driving all over town and taking a half day to go run here and there, students can get that therapy before school, during school, or after school. A variety of offerings, individual and group.
Okay, so it'll be for all the grade levels then. Okay, wonderful. And I noticed that there were some different houses, kind of Harry Potter style in the high school. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. So the middle school homerooms get to decide on their house name. And one of the things that I love that they do is in our social skills program, there are some characteristics that we aspire to: cooperation, responsibility, self-control, empathy. And each week they choose a word of the week that they're going to look for, whether that be cooperation or kindness or whatever. And at the end of the week, they get together as a whole middle school and they reflect on how well the teachers modeled those things, and each little house gets to give a rating, 0 to 5, and they reflect on how well the students did that week on that, and they have to give specific examples, so citing examples. But they also collect tickets through the week for modeling that goal trait, and at the end of the week they count their tickets and somebody's going to win a prize. And so it's a little competition, but it's all in good fun and nice and positive, pro-social, so it's a good experience for them.
Wonderful. And I know in the younger grades the parents are very active. Is that the case as the children get older as well?
I've seen, being a new person to Westview, I have seen the parent engagement, and that's one thing I love. That's part of the community with that child at the center and everybody coming together to celebrate and help support through the tough times too as well.
Wonderful. And so what would you say makes Westview unique in terms of the different schools in the area? We're in Houston as well as maybe around the country.
I would say it is really that our families share a common bond. They all have a child on the spectrum, on a journey that's a little bit different. We just finished an admissions open house Zoom, and one of the moms there was talking about, at her very first popsicles on the playground, another mom met her and their kids were going to be in the same class, and the other mom asked, is your child in speech therapy? Are they verbal? Right? And so that would be something that another parent would ask. So for me, it's that the families are in similar situations. They understand the journey. They understand the path. There's so much empathy and connection and understanding that you don't find everywhere. And so I think that's really great. I think the families give each other so much grace, and it comes from the kids because they're the exact same way.
Right, wonderful. I know it's definitely a very warm, supportive environment. And so if somebody wants to learn more about the Westview School, how would they do that?
They should go to the westviewschool.com and reach out, send a note to our admissions team, Becky Travis. She'd be great.
Okay, wonderful. Is there anything else you want to share?
No, we just appreciate so much the
Thank
time to
you so
visit with
much.
you. Thank
Okay.
you.
Well, thank you for all you do. We appreciate it. I know this
Thank
is
you.
one of the wonderful places in Houston for kids on the autism spectrum. So thank you for all you do.
Thank you, Miriam.